Okay, everybody. We'll see you in the Bahamas. Goodbye, Boot Key.
Bye. It's been lots of fun.
So we're motoring directly into the wind. We're heading towards Sombrero Reef. And then once we clear the Sombrero Reef, I can see the dark blue water out there already. We're going to raise the sails and we're going to turn to the north-northeast and head almost directly towards Riding Rock, which is south of Bimini. There's a channel there that will take us through to the Northwest Lights, and from there we'll go to Great Harbor in the Berries. Total distance is about 211 miles, so should take us about 36 hours. We're just past Sombrero Reef. We have full sails. We're on a beam reach doing about 6 knots. And the motion of the boat is 100% better. I don't know how to describe it. You just got to do it. But when you're motoring, it's miserable. The motion of the boat is not right. Once you put the sails up, she calms down and it's a whole lot more pleasant. Lila, poor Lila, she threw up again. Hannah wasn't feeling well. And a lot of it was the surf at Sombrero Reef, where it moves from 100-foot water to 30-foot water. But now that we're about 5 miles offshore and we're in the bigger, deeper water, with the wind in the sails, everything is calmed down, it's quiet, it's beautiful.
Somehow when we are motoring, like even with some sails up, but when we're motoring, there's a lot of contrary motion because the boat doesn't respond to the water and the waves in the same way. It's like they're trying to decide who is boss, and the motor's trying to say, I'm the boss. And the wind is just saying, cool down, you go.
I think part of it's also like front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive. When you've got the motor on, you're pushing the boat in front of you. And when the sails are up, she's pulling the boat along with. It's a lot more pleasant. Well, we're still making about 6.5 to 7 knots. Looks like we'll be at Riding Rock at about, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning, right after sunrise.
I'm on first watch tonight. A little bit late to start all the standard shifts, but Dad and I were discussing a bunch of sailing stuff, the perfect points of sail, etc. Dad should be headed to bed shortly. It really is a shame that none of these cameras can capture just how pretty it is outside. The moon is shining just through the wispy clouds. The stars are bright in the sky. There's nary a light on the horizon, and the waves are nice and calm. Regardless, we're headed about 7-8 knots. We've got a wind speed of about 11 knots-ish. As I have been up all day already. But I'll see you in the morning.
Morning, everybody. We're about an hour and 15 minutes out of Riding Rock. We didn't think we were going to make it. The winds weren't cooperating, and with a 3-knot current in the Gulf Stream, I kept pushing it towards Bimini. But the winds slowly shifted farther out of the south. And so we're now going to make Riding Rock.
We're officially in Bahamian waters now, huh?
Yep. We are 9 miles out. We are in Bahamian waters. Good morning, Sam. We're heeled about 20 degrees. The rail's almost in the water, not quite. We've got about 15 knots of wind coming out of about 180. We're heading about 100. Seas are 3 to 4 feet.
So an idea for a diet. It's the underway diet. You are restricted from cooking anything unless you can cook it when the boat is heeled over 30 degrees.
Well, we're just past Riding Rock, and we're in 20 feet of water. The seas have calmed down. We're making 7.5 to 8 knots in 14 knots of wind. And Kokomo says you can anchor here if you want to. But it's weird to be completely out of sight of land in 20 feet of water. Kokomo said, why do people always go to Bimini when it's shorter to go to Riding Rock and then cross the Great Bahama Bank? Well, we've been going about 27 hours, and we've got about 6 more to go before we get to Great Harbor Cay. Unfortunately, we're going to get there at 9 o'clock tonight. So we're debating on whether to anchor early or whether to try and go into the area and anchor. We're supposed to have 20-knot winds tonight. There's a little bit of rain out there. It's not anything stormy, but it is raining.
The forecast has already proven itself to be off.
Yeah, the wind was supposed to have shifted already, and it hasn't.
It is probably going to shift, but it's good to know the changes to the forecast.
Right. The front is still off over this way, and it hasn't hit us yet. So it's getting closer, but it's not here yet. Okay, so it's 5:15. The winds have not shifted yet, but they're just starting to clock around to our stern, and they're going to move all the way around to the northeast, to the northwest. And they're going to pick up to 25 knots, maybe 30. So right now we have 17 knots of wind. We're doing 5.8 knots. The Jenny is reefed. We've decided to go jib and jigger, and we put in 2 reefs in the main, and then decided to just take it down and run with the Genoa. So it's getting on to sunset. The winds are changing. There's rain clouds coming. We're reefed early.
Glad we did it when we did too, because that was really unpleasant even when we did.
Yes, even at 17 knots, this mainsail is difficult to get in. And our procedure for that is we take it in 1 reef at a time. We take in the first reef, we take in the second reef, and then we pull up our lazy jacks. After we pulled up the lazy jacks with both reefs in, then we go ahead and drop the sail and put the sail ties on it. The reason we do that is if we have to leave because of a storm, we're already reefed. And it doesn't take any time to pull the reefs out. We're not going to forget to pull our reefs out as we raise our sail. But even if we forgot, it is properly reefed so that if we pull the sail up, we've got a double reef in automatically.
Anything else?
But in 18 knots of wind right now, we're doing 6 knots with a reefed Genoa and just the mizzen. So I'm good with that as we go on into the evening. Morning, everybody. We just got up. It was a long night. We got bed at about 1 in the morning. So I suppose we should talk about our trip over. Yeah, we left Marathon at Saturday afternoon at about 1 o'clock, right, Hannah, or was it 2?
It was 2. And we
It was
tried to
2.
leave Marathon on Friday in the morning.
Yeah, but we just weren't ready. I mean, we weren't packed. The stuff wasn't ready to go. We still had things we needed to buy. I was missing flags that I thought I had, but evidently
Still
I
have
don't.
stuff we need to
I think
buy.
they're on the boat somewhere, but Lord knows where. So we didn't get out of there on Friday, but it's good that it didn't, because when we headed out, the winds were a beam reach 15 knots the entire way off the starboard beam to Riding Rock. Coming from Marathon, I would recommend it. You cross the Great Bahama Bank, and we had 20-foot depths the whole way to where we are now in Great Harbor. And it's almost a direct line. If you draw a line from Marathon to Direct Harbor, it goes right by Riding Rock, and with very slight deviations to be in channels and things, it was a direct shot here. The entire trip took us about 33 hours to go from Marathon all the way here. It was a very nice run, and that's definitely the way to go. Checking in here at Great Harbor is fabulous. When we came in, we were trying to get in ahead of a storm. The winds were going to shift out of the north, and so we wanted to cross the Gulf Stream before the wind shifted, and we succeeded in doing that. They shifted about the last 5 miles, and they picked up to about 30 knots, and a couple of thunderstorms came through. Not big.
It was fun anchoring in the dark.
Not big
in a
ones, little ones.
thunderstorm while it was raining.
We had to
Yeah.
put out like 200 foot of chain just to stop us from dragging.
Right, and it was 30. I think the gusts might have been up as high as 38, and it was raining. Not a lot of rain, but enough rain to get us soaking wet. You know, I suppose it rained for about 15 minutes. But in those winds and at midnight in unknown waters, we were a little frazzled. And yes, we had to put out 200 feet of chain. And, well, you know, 200 feet of chain in nearly 20 feet of water was actually fine. It didn't grab until we got to 10 to 1. But the holding is good here. It's a combination of grass and sand and shells and mud. And once the anchor sinks in, it grabs really well. We stayed the night. We had probably 2-foot waves, and so it was a little rolly, but it really wasn't bad. We were completely safe.
It was predictably rolly.
Yeah, it was predictably rolly. And then the next morning we came in and we anchored near the government docks, and I went in to talk to customs, and they said, oh, no, you got to go to the marina. So don't go to the government docks, go straight to the marina.
This is Traveler on 16.
And then they'll check in and take care of everything. We got done at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, and we had lunch, and we came here to anchor for the evening, and maybe we leave tomorrow heading towards Nassau and the Exumas, or maybe we stay for a week. I don't know. That's the fun of it, right? Well, we have made it to the Bahamas. We just finished checking in with Customs and Immigration. We came back out of the harbor to anchor, and we're right next to a beautiful little beach and a walking trail. This is Great Harbor, Bahamas, at the top end of the Berries. And we're having guests over.
Which is exactly why we're doing this, which is why I'm here and not sitting outside, because I am making snacks.
The winds will be good for Wednesday and Thursday to head down to Nassau, and from Nassau to the Exumas. The winds are going to die. So we have to be there by like Friday or Saturday, and by then the winds are going to die, and we're going to be around for probably a week. So we had a question of whether we're going to stay here for a week or whether we're going to go down to the Exumas for a week. So the harbor, it's a very, very narrow inlet cut through the rock, but it's about 8-foot depth, and once you get inside, it's like 12 to 15 foot. And then there's a huge anchorage in there. It's a beautiful anchorage. The marina is nice. It's deep. The services are good.
Great lunch spot.
Yeah, there's a good place to eat lunch there. We had grouper fingers and rice and beans and coleslaw, and it was fabulous.
The marina was nice enough to let us stay until this afternoon, even though we just arrived to check in. They let us stay so we could get water and sort of get situated.
Apparently, when you're checking in with customs, they do not charge you for the service at the marina. Water's 50 cents a gallon, but the marina's booked like a month in advance, sometimes even more. So call ahead if you want the marina, because it's probably going to be full. It's a wonderful place. So what did you think of the crossing, Mom?
Oh, I thought it was wonderful. I like it when there's one boat in the middle of the ocean, and that's us. And there's nothing else but sea and sky. And it's quiet. I think we've forgotten what quiet is because there's noise all the time. Noise pollution is a real thing. People that have grown up with it, born with it, grown up with it, don't know that that was different once upon a time.
If you like the video you've just seen and you would like to see more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Well, we're just past We looked over and I was like, hey! And they looked over and said, hey! There's a man here named Leonard, and he works at the marina, but he is an artiste, and he etches glass, and he can do amazing work. So if you would like some glass etched, come here and ask for Leonard. We met several wonderful people in the marina. They came over and they looked at our boat, and they complimented Sam's work on the decks and the bright work.